starts on the Friday night, lucky us, on the 30th of March and 31st of March. So it's approximately 3 weeks away, just over 3 weeks. If you're trying hiring out venues like I tried and discovered that it's also the Easter long weekend.
It always is.
Oh, is it? I've only just noticed it this time then.
Easter has to fall. Easter
has to fall out.
Lunar thing, but they're
really?
considering changing it so they can fix the public holidays.
Oh, that's good, because then venues will be cheaper. So everything's booked out for Last Supper. Yeah, it is if you financially. Especially after Pesach, the last thing you want to do is be eating. That's Pesach this year. So obviously you have to do your prep before sunset, but we'll get more into that as the time gets as we get nearer to Pesach. What I've decided to do is I normally run at night a workshop on the 15 steps of the Seder. So what I'll be doing here is I won't be going into those 15 steps per se, but I'll be spreading it out over three Tuesdays leading up to Pesach, and we'll be doing a lot more superficially. The night shiur in which I'll be beginning will be actually starting next Tuesday night on the 16th, I think? 13th. Tuesday the 13th of March. That's when I'll be going in depth. Each shiur will be the five steps. Each shiur will be from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And that will be take place at the Paddington Stiebel starting from next Tuesday night. And that we go really in depth. So these shiurim are just going to be much more of an overview, but still so you can take something away. So obviously there's the classic joke told about Pesach that Ivan and Moshe are trudging through the Black Forest and through the desert plains of Russia, or the snow plains of Russia, and they come to one of the local towns, and Moshe turns around to Yankel, and they're paupers, beggars, and Moshe turns around to Yankel and says, turns around to Ivan and says, Ivan, tonight is Pesach. Ivan's like, okay, great, what does that mean? He's like, it means we're going to have a feast. Oh, cool. Just can't say no to having some food in our empty stomachs. So they go to the local synagogue, and afterwards each one of them is pulled back, taken home by one of the local inhabitants to the Pesach Seder. And Moshe says to Ivan, but I'll see you later tonight at the local hostel. Enjoy yourself, have a good time, eat as much as you can. And so later that night, Moshe gets back to the local hostel, and he sees Ivan there, and Ivan is furious. Moshe says to Ivan, well, what happened? Why are you so upset? And Ivan says, what type of people are you? You torture your own nation. You torture the paupers. The first thing I eat or drink after not having eaten for months is strong red wine. Then after that, I'm given bitter herbs. Then I'm given dry crackers. Then I'm given more strong red wine. I'm drunk. I'm hungry. My throat is burning. I got fed up and I walked out. And Moshe says, you idiot. Had you stayed another few minutes, you would have had the feast. We didn't obviously call him an idiot, but had you stayed a bit longer, you would have had the feast. So one of the, unfortunately, throughout the years, one of the downsides of Pesach is we tend to focus a lot on the negativity. It's very costly. We spend hours and hours cleaning up. Matzah doesn't taste so great. Maror doesn't taste so great. And we often forget to wait just that bit longer to reach the essence of what the Seder is about, or the beauty and the meaning and the inspiration of the Seder. So my plan is to give you some of that, take away some of the Matzah and Maror, and to give you some of the main course. So there's a group of people who don't have anything to eat on Pesach. It's called the Ashkenazim, and specifically we struggle because of Chometz, or the lack thereof of Chometz. Sephardim get to have the rice. We don't. I don't. So I don't know if there's any Sephardim here. Lucky you. So the throughout the whole of Pesach and lead up to Pesach, we spend a lot of time cleaning. Some do the major spring clean. Is the prime time to go through all the photographs you want to chuck out. But the actual point of the Pesach clean is to get rid of Chometz. And the Shulchan Aruch is full of all the various laws why we can't have Chometz, and what is Chometz, and how do you make it, and what defines it, and how much of it are you not allowed to have. And even biblically, we have 3 commandments. You can't eat the Chometz, and by your matzah, you can't see it, and it can't be found. When it comes to matzah, on the other hand, there's far less halachas. there are the laws how it should be made, but we know you have to eat matzah. We know what matzah looks like. We know what it tastes like. But then that's just about it. And we have how much you're meant to eat, a kazais, and there's a whole debate about how big that kazais is, whether it's 3 matzahs, 2 matzahs, half a matzah, if it's Yehudas, if it's Shmura, if it's Rekuzans. I'm English, so I get to Rekuzans. But there's all these different law. There is the only major debate about matzah is the sizing. But Chometz, it goes into so much about Chometz and how much you're not allowed to have. Why is the focus of Pesach, in the beginning of Pesach at least, about the Chometz versus the matzah? So, first of all, let's start with looking at the actual words of Chometz and matzah itself. Chometz, spelt Ches, Mem, Tzadi. Matzah, Mem, Tzadi, Hey. Exactly the same words except for the Ches and the Hey. The Ches and the Hey look the same except for one major difference, is that the Hey is open on one side. Okay? So matzah and chometz both share the mem and the tzadik together, but they differ when it comes to the ches and the hey. Ches is completely enclosed, hey is open on one side. Keep that thought because that's for the end. That's number one. Number two, what is Pesach? Generally, when we celebrate Pesach, it's especially in a traditional home, all the family come together. For children, it's the chance for them to say the Manishtana and to ask lots of questions. But Pesach itself is very much the focus is about becoming a nation. That's the main celebrational focus of the Jewish people left Egypt and became a nation. And throughout history, Pesach has very much been associated with the idea of becoming free. The Exodus, leaving Egypt behind. Egypt, the Hebrew word for Egypt is Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim means boundaries, limitations. So the idea of Pesach is becoming free, becoming a nation, and celebrating that nationhood on Pesach. But that's on a macro level. On a micro level, Pesach is very much about the individual becoming free, leaving behind their own individual limitations and their own individual jails. So, as an individual, what is the greatest form of limitation? And that is what we generally call ego. What do I mean? Why is that a limitation? Why is that a prison, so to speak? If you go through your relationships, be it between husband and wife, between your partners, business, between your boss, between your employees, what you can almost pinpoint, and this is a bit of a generalization, I agree, but you can almost pinpoint that the foundation of friction between each other is when it comes to ego. When you become inflexible, when you decide, I do not agree with you, I do not want you to do that. Within relationships, no, I don't want to go shoe shopping for 2 hours, or no, I don't want you to go watch the baseball game or the football game or the rugby game for 2 hours. Nothing wrong with that, but when there is that limit, when there is that stubbornness or that inflexibility, which is based upon what I don't want you to do this because I am choosing that I am the one that makes the decisions, or I am the one who is in charge here, or I am the one who can make that decision. There's a famous story about the Tzemach Tzedek, that he was approached by his shamash, and his shamash looking after the shul, and his shamash says, I have a real problem. And that is that everyone in the shul doesn't like me. Whatever I try to achieve or try to accomplish in the shul, I get into arguments with people. No one seems to agree with me. And the Tzemach Tzedek said, well, when you try to spread yourself out over the whole shul, someone is going to step on your toes. When you try to impress yourself upon other people, whether it's appropriate or not, or whether it's in your place or not, what's going to happen is there's going to be friction. So when it comes to these relationships, and when it comes to whichever sphere you find yourself in, the first question you need to ask yourself is this the best way to achieve the goal? I might achieve a goal, but is this the best way to achieve the goal that I am trying to achieve? Can it be done in a way where I can remove my own personal agenda, my own personal self, my own personal ego from the equation, and still come out with a successful outcome? And when we do that, and sometimes, yes, you are going to have to enforce your ego. Sometimes you will have to stand your place and try to achieve something through ego. And we're not saying that ego is wrong. We're not saying that pride is wrong. We're saying that sometimes it can be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the difference between chometz and matzah is chometz is especially on Pesach, is that it is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and matzah is in the right place at the right time, teaching us that ego sometimes has to take a step back. Sometimes you have to look at the environment and think, what do I need to have a chometz mentality? Do I need to have a level where I take a step back, a matzah mentality where I lower myself, where I'm a bit more flat, where I can remove my ego, chometz being risen full of hot air, matzah being completely flat, and the idea is that it doesn't have the hot air, it's not risen. So do I take a step back? Do I say, yes, I will concede, yes, I will give in, which is the matzah mentality, or do I say chometz? No, this is what I have to achieve. This is what I need. This is the place I need to stand in my to a degree. Be stubborn in this environment. Will I achieve what I'm trying to achieve? And when you take each